Buenas tardes. It's a great pleasure for us to be here today, launching Little Guru. Actually, I was really amazed when Anuj Sharma-ji approached me with this project. I really think it is a unique occasion, because as we know, we live in a time where computers are all important. And we have to rely on computers. Computers have become an inseparable part of our life. We use computers for everything. So if computers can help us to learn Sanskrit, what will be a better use of the computer power for the community than having a machine that is now helping us to learn such a wonderful language as Sanskrit. And I was really very impressed with Sharma-ji because he not only introduced English medium for learning Sanskrit at this time, but also Spanish. And I think that is a visionary thing to include Spanish, because I think Sharma-ji knows very well the importance of Spanish, how Spanish is growing all over the world, and how after English, Spanish is the second language of international communication. America is a continent that speaks Spanish, right? From the US to the tip of Argentina and Chile. And this is the reason that make Anuj Sharma include Spanish in this application. And I hope this application really will have a long life, will help a lot children, both Indian children and foreign children, to learn Sanskrit through games, because video games and computer games they have become not only an entertainment tool for our young generation, but also a way of learning. So having Little Guru, for me, it's a huge step in the dissemination of Sanskrit outside India, but also inside India, because I'm sure that the new generation of young Indians will see that this application is very useful for them. So thanks very much to Dr. Anuj Sharma, Nidhi Agrawal, and all the team that is behind this application, because I know that to produce an application like this is not a small job. There are many hours there are many thoughts that have to be taken into consideration. And as I said, this is something that is going to stay, and it's going to help for all of us that are Sanskrit lovers. It's going to stay there for many, many years. I would also like to thank the ICCR, especially his former director, Dinesh Patnaik, who is now the ambassador of India to Spain. He is very sensible to the Spanish language. But I would say that all ICCR, I find that they are very open to culture in Spanish language. So hats off to ICCR that has been supporting this project right from the beginning. Antato gatva Sanskrit bhashayam kinchit bachanam kartum ichhami. Ati prasanno asmi. Yato hi asmin avasare sarva prathama Sanskrita sanganaka krida prastuta asti. Anuja Sharma Mahodayenam Hatkaryam Kritam. Atra kopi sandeho nasti. Bhavan dhanyo siyat. Adunikam jagat sanganaka yantraihi vyaptam asti. Ataha Sanskrita pracharartam sanganaka yantra shaktihi avashyaki bhavati. Yadi adya sanskritam sartakam karaniyam tarhi tasya sanganaka yantraihi saha sambandho suvyavastito vavitu marhati. Tat kritam Little Guru adhikam upayogi bhavishyati. Iti mama vichara asti. And now I would like to give the floor to Gayatri, who will sing some Sanskrit shlokas. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. अगण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। या गुन्देन्दुतुषारहार धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्कर प्रभृतिभिर्देवैः सदा पूजिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापः।
Thanks very much, Gayatri. Such a wonderful and such a significant shlok for us, dedicated to Saraswati and Bharati, the Sanskrit language, Thanks very much. And now I will like to give the floor to our esteemed Mr. Anuj Sharma to present Little Guru. Sharmaji, you have the floor.
Dhanyavad. Namaskar. Buenas tardes. Namo namaha. Atra sarvesham swagatam kartum anand hatu asmi. Dhanyavadam and welcome. And thank you very much, Oscar ji, for your very kind words about us, our team, and for Little Guru. And it's such a pleasure and honor to be in your company, to be able to be part of this event. Thank you for organizing this event for Little Guru, where both your languages that you love, Spanish and Sanskrit, come together. And before I move forward, I must give a lot of welcome and credit. I can see in the list, I can see Dr. Srimati Das, who's joined us here. And also, I can see Laura from the University, UAEH from Mexico, have joined us. So welcome, Dr. Das and Laura. We are talking about Little Guru trying to promote Sanskrit through gamification, and at the same time, bringing this Spanish version out to larger set of people. So I must say that first set of congratulations must go to Dr. Srimati Das and Laura, because Srimati Das was the one who took the initiative and saying, in Mexico, we have to launch this, and she really drove it, providing all the support that was possible there with her team, Mr. Ricardo, and of course, Dr. Wendy and Yogendraji being there, along with other translators who helped us. And really, that is where we launched. And thank you very much to Laura and the Dean of UAEH and the organization, who really took, Little Guru as their own and have promoted within the university. And Dr. Nidhi was giving me some good news from Laura that they have got permission to sponsor several students for subscription for Little Guru in June this year. So thank you very much, Dr. Das and Laura, for this.
Thank you, sir.
Contribution. Okay, so coming back to Little Guru, I would soon share my screen and make some presentation on Little Guru, what we have done till now and what we are going to do in future. So Sanskrit language is the source, is the fountain of beginning of the culture, several cultures across the world, certainly the Indian culture. And after we have started to teach students outside of India, and even more in India, who are keen to learn Sanskrit in a fun way. We are also trying to now bring in certain aspects, very important parts of this culture in a gamified way. For example, some of our epics like Ramayana, Mahabharata, and Bhagavad Gita, we are starting the projects to gamify them and present it in a game form to the students, especially the children. Because it's the children who earlier they used to be told these stories by their grandmother. I know when I was growing up, I learned Ramayana from my grandmother, and she would tell us about each characters, the stories about every person and why everything is being done. In Ramayana, from Sri Ram to Ravan, we learned about that. Then we learned about Bhagavad Gita as we grew, from our acharyas, from our parents. And then we read Mahabharata on our own and also from gurus. Now I see that a lot of that is happening, but still, that culture has changed slightly. The access to grandmother telling stories is, the nuclear families and the kids are away. That's not happening so much. So we need to bring some more elements, fun and, nurturing of children, and tell them these stories in a fun way, like we all learned while growing up. So we are going to bring in gamification of, as I said, Ramayana for kids, Bhagavad Gita for kids, Mahabharata for kids, and many other historical characters from Indian culture. And that is a logical, progress forward for the learning of, Sanskrit language. A lot of that, again, the stories will be multilingual. Part of that would be in English, part of that would be in Sanskrit, and eventually we will do them in Spanish as well. So these are the few steps we are taking. Perhaps I will just share my screen and show a few of these ideas to the team. I understand that most of the people who are on this group, right, have been involved with the launch of Little Guru before. So I'll give a brief on that very quickly, and then after that I will go on to talking about our future projects. So just allow me a minute to share. Thanks very much. Dr. Nidhi, is my screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Right. So it's amazing that we say gamified and Krida is such an important part of learning in the past. And I must quote one a little episode. We recently had a tie-up with the Central Sanskrit University, which used to be called RSS before, Rashtriya Sanskrit Sansthan, as I'm sure Dr. Das would know, Noskarji would know. It is the largest Sanskrit university in the world, definitely in India, and has the grants from the government to run various projects. And their vice chancellor, Dr. Varkhadi ji, he was very keen to tie up with us because he also has that vision. Interestingly, as you said, Oscar ji, in India also, now people are having the vision that we need to take Sanskrit to larger number of people, so that Sanskrit is considered cool and fun to learn. And it is coming from the vice chancellor of the largest Sanskrit university. He liked the idea of Little Guru, and we've done a MOU. We've signed up with them already, and we are going to launch the biggest Sanskrit Olympiad in the world, which will be jointly done by Little Guru and CSU. Dr. Das. So that will happen this year. And when we were doing the launch, and then the ex-vice chancellor of the university was there. And when he saw the word gamified, he actually went into Vedas and he dished out a shloka. I have to remember that shloka. I'll have to take from him. He says that there was a time over 1,000 plus years back, over 2,000 years back, when the education had taken a back seat, even in India, and there were people who were not studying. They were getting into different interest areas, and the sages were worried that what's happening, that people are not really taking to education a lot, and what should we do now to bring that interest in education back? And what did they do? They started creating games about education, how to, even in the gurukuls and pathshalas, create games so that the interest in education comes back, interest in languages, interest in learning comes back. And he read a shloka, and I really had goosebumps to say that even in Vedas, they've talked about gamification and games as a way to teach people whatever is noble. And out of our instinct, we started doing it here. So we feel very happy and blessed that we are on the right path of bringing more and more people into the world of Sanskrit. I always say that about 2 million people worldwide may know about Sanskrit to an extent, they can speak to an extent, but always there are over 100 million people who want to learn. Some surveys have suggested that. So Little Guru is for those 98 million people, right, who want to start, but they don't know how to start, where to go, and there are conventional methods, but we need something different. So it's for that. So we are giving them a start, that come, have fun, it's cool, it's fun, learn, and then once you've finished your 4 or 5 levels, if you're interested, then you go for higher studies. Even if you're not, still you've learned enough to be able to communicate, exchange a few words, exchange a few sentences. So Little Guru is for them. So what have we achieved till now? So just wanted to mention a few things. Like Oscar ji, you were asking, we've had over 1 lakh, which means over 100,000 downloads plus. We have over 600,000 minutes of app usage. The rating in the app stores is high. People are liking it. We got very good positive comments. We've had international schools and university using Little Guru to learn Sanskrit. These are just a few. Of course, I mentioned UAEH from Mexico. We have in Ireland, we have Scottish school in Ireland, in UK, in Cambodia, even in Thailand now we have institutes who've combined with us to offer Little Guru to their students. So now we are creating, Little Guru is creating that Bharatiya Sanskrit game platform. We make learning games like Mahabharata, and of course Ramayana and Bhagavad Gita, and we won't stop there. Also the games that come from the Indian, not only the history, but also from mathematics, come not only from Vedic mathematics, but zero. Everybody talks about India gave zero to the world. So how was it done? So a game around that, game on different dynasties like the Chola dynasties, the Chandragupta dynasties, which actually brought in Indian culture to the fore across the world. Of course, we have also not only done for Little Gurus for students, but we also created worksheets for teachers of Sanskrit worldwide. We have several hundreds of worksheets we've created. So any teachers who want to take help with that, Little Guru is also created worksheets for them, which they can use not only in the app, but they can use it offline as well to help them make the children understand Sanskrit in a fun way. Of course, we have our Padma Shris. When I was in Thailand last, I met with Shri Chirapat ji, had a good discussion with him on how we should, take Sanskrit forward. Shri Rutger Cottonhouse ji in Ireland in his school, he's a regular subscriber for all his students. He uses Little Guru. And he told us that he asked Duolingo to do Sanskrit and they didn't listen, and his Little Guru has done it. So he was very, very happy with that. And then, of course, Shri David Frology, who's also very, very happy with Little Guru, and he wants us to take it worldwide. He says, you should just take it global, bring it to US. Now I'll tell him that we got Spanish as well. So we'll bring it to US with both English and Spanish. And of course, as you said, Oscar ji, it's very important, the team which has, participated in it, like, Dr. Nidhi ji. Before that, Nikhil, who's been looking at it from the product aspect and has done tremendous work in creating this. Also, we have here Pradeep and Neha, Gayatri, Ashutosh, a lot of people in the team, and many other who are not here have worked to create this. So just a few snapshots of the things we have done. As I said, app downloads, the time spent, number of questions answered. It's amazing. Almost 500,000 questions have been answered on our app by people. And soon we should reach that 1 million. The ratings, the tie-ups, and the different aspects of the game we are creating. We are also looking at, we were speaking to Google as well. So now Google is going to make a translator. So we've contacted Google team with their Asia Pacific head of partnership. We are talking to them to help them with the Shabdakosha, because they do machine learning and machines work as well as how much of content they have. So we are going to help them with that as well. So that project is also in progress. Some of the projects that I mentioned that we're likely to have in future, of course, the learning games, as you said, Bharatiya Sanskriti Bodh Krida, Bhagavad Gita for kids, of course. Then there will be, this is a project that is for a little later, but as we have offline gurukuls, now world is all digital, like computers you mentioned, Oskarji. So there will be a time that we'll have a metaverse where we can create gurukuls for little guru. Of course, these are very large projects, and we would need Oskarji, your, Dr. Das, Laura, everyone who's there, who's connected to enablers to help us enable these projects. Right? People from academia, universities, embassies, ICCR, even public, private, even private people who are keen to do that, bring that in. We will create this project. Then, of course, there is a coding platform for Sanskrit, where you can learn Vedic maths and coding through Sanskrit. Those are also on Anvil. And then, of course, eventually we would look at the learning games, which are our Shastras, music, yoga, as well, into games for learning of those. Of course, we already have the worksheets, which will expand, so that it helps teachers, not only students. We focus on teachers too, because I've seen, especially in India, I'm sure in many parts of the world, the teachers need help. They need, they have their materials and they're very good, but modern material, gamified way of teaching, they can get help. Of course, we are, as I said, we are working with Google in discussion with them to how to help them by providing them content, so their machine language learning capabilities increase, and they can help create a good translator. Hopefully, they'll come out with a translator in next 1 or 2 years, where whatever way we can help them, we'll help them. But it's really a great initiative, finally, that we're going to have a Sanskrit translator, Google. I remember in my presentation, Dr. Das, when I used to do 1 year back, or even 1.5 years back, I used to have a slide saying, oh, there is no Google translator. Why Sanskrit has been left behind. Or perhaps Google has listened to that. And in collaboration with ICCR, now they have come out and they are launching the translator. And of course, like we have talked about English and Spanish, there are many other very important languages from where people have to learn Sanskrit, right? Many Indian languages, whether it is Telugu, or Tamil, Malayalam, Bengali, Kannada, and also a few international languages, especially in Far East, like Thai, Cambodia, because they come from Pali, and Pali comes from Sanskrit. So they want to learn from their language. So we would be creating that. So this is like a blueprint, we are showing. Of course, we are moving step by step on these. And this is to share the vision with you that we also need a lot of help in this from people across, as I said, public, private sector, academia, institutions. So if any of these projects yourselves have interest in, or institutions that would be interested in it, and help us with these, please let us know. Right? Then we will accelerate that project faster. We have the desire, we have the intent, we have the team, we have the plan, we have the blueprint. We need some enablers to allow us to move forward. Okay. Okay. So this is about our little group presentation. I will very briefly also show you the maybe Dr. I can show you the Bhagavad Gita. game. Just a small version of that we've created. So I will just show that. Oscar ji, shall I go ahead?
Yes, please show us the
Yes.
Gita
So it's
Pro.
yes, it's a small version of that, the game that we would create from Little Guru for Gita. And so it's basically the story of an Indian family which lives in Bali, and the parents have two daughters, Alisha and Ananya, and they are very good players of tennis, and the father is proud of them, and they also want, while they allow them to, of course, follow all their passions, but also want them to nurture with culture and morals and all the tradition that they have. So so very interestingly, so there's a situation where the one player, let's say Alisha, is very good player. She's a top player, and Ananya is coming up but can give her competition. So they are in a situation where they're playing a tournament, and they've beaten all players, and they're in the final, playing against each other. So now they were in the family before the final. They are discussing, and there is all sorts of bit of tension, bit of anxiety within the family. Will Alisha go out and thrash her little sister in tennis, which she can? Or will the younger sister, she can step up and go out without worrying about her champion sister and give her a tough fight and try to beat her? So this is the discussion going on. So then that's even the sisters are a little confused, and that's where the father brings in the concept of, I have to make an idea. They're discussing how do we do that. So they run a contest about a challenge between them, but the whole idea is that he invokes Bhagavad Gita at that time, and Arjun was in the field, and Arjuna, and he saw all his cousins in front of him, the Kauravas, and he dropped his bow and arrow and say, I cannot fight. Says, why? Krishna says, why? He says, they're all my own people. If I beat them, or I kill them, or they beat them, or they beat me, who's the winner? And I can't fight. And that's where the whole essence of Bhagavad Gita started. And similarly, the example here is of the Williams sisters in tennis, Serena Williams and Venus Williams. So first time they played the final, how would Venus think that, am I going to thrash my little daughter, my little sister, or am I going to let her win some points? So this is exactly what the father told, both the stories of Arjuna and Krishna and of the sisters, to Alisha and Ananya, that why do you play tennis? Okay, to have fun, to win, to excel, to show your potential. Does it matter who's your opponent? If you're doing the right thing, it shouldn't matter who's your opponent. It doesn't matter if it is your sister on the other side. You have to go out and give your best. Your sister's outside the court, but when you are in the court, you have to play your best against each other. Doesn't matter, even if you steamroll the other one in the match. So this is one instance. And then after that, we bring the relevant shloka, which we show over there, break it into different parts. Shlokas are long, so it's very important to break that into smaller parts. Acharyaha, Pitraha, Putram, Tathaiva cha Pita Maha. And then explain the literal meaning of that and the reference to the story. What does it mean in Bhagavad Gita, and what does it mean in your real life? And this was one scenario that we showed. So like that, there will be, then after that, of course, there are some questions which they will be required to answer. This shloka was said by whom to whom, so while learning. Then, of course, the correct answer leads to marks, scores. Then you're on the leaderboard. Then obviously the audio and the next questions start coming in. So there is a competition. While there's a different competition going on there, but here is a competition and challenge to get the right answers. Quick 4 names of Krishna from the grid. A lot of questions related to that shloka will cover. So this is how one example of how we bring in gamification of not only of the content, but also relating it to the real life scenarios. So with the help of ISKCON people, we are working on, creating other scenarios, like this was one scenario, and various other scenarios which can be related by kids directly to the Bhagavad Gita shlokas. And then the game will go through different scenarios. So this is a small example, Oscar ji and all our guests, about how Sanskrit Bhagavad Gita can be taught through gamification to kids. Okay. All right. So let me just show one more before I hand over to you. So this is the Sanskrit Olympiad that I mentioned. You can see that it's Little Guru, and this is the Kendriya Sanskrit Vishwavidyalaya, CSU. So together, we are going to create this Sanskrit Olympiad, and Dr. Das all over the world, and also Laura and the team from Spain. Right now it's in English, but we will try and encourage them that if somehow we can introduce Spanish in that also, because it's a worldwide Olympiad. Not only they were thinking of India, we said, no, why only India? Let's do it worldwide. And they're very keen on that. And they expect lots and lots of people to come in with the reach that CSU has, and with whatever we can, Little Guru and our all our friends and our friends can promote this. We really want to make it very, very successful. It'll have good prizes. It'll be really a fun game to participate. Okay, so of course, people who want to have the Little Guru app, I always say that it's very simple. Or Little Guru app, or go to our website. Here is a QR code. So just put your camera in front of the QR code, and you can go to the website. You can download both your apps and start using it. So that's about Little Guru, what we plan to do, what support we need, and how we are progressing forward, and how we thank you all the people who've encouraged Little Guru to go to next steps. We would love for you to keep participating in the journey of Little Guru, right? And whichever stage you want to participate in any project, in any form, in any capacity, we would welcome your participation in any form. So thank you. Dhanyavad, Oscar ji.
Thanks very much, Sharma ji, for this presentation. It's been short but to the point, and I've been thrilled to see that Little Guru is just the beginning of a series of projects, which I think are very important. And we all know that these things take their own time, that they have to percolate into the minds of the users. But I would like only to say that Little Guru, it's already, you can download it already from in your mobile. The application is available. You only have to go to the different stores that you have to have it on your own mobile or on your own computer. So I think we should take advantage of that. So I said, really impressed by the range of projects that you have, because I think it's a comprehensive one. You are touching different aspects, games and this kind of competitions are very popular. They help really to say about names of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. We know there are many, but I'm sure that many Indians, they don't know all the names that Krishna are applied to Krishna, even in the Gita or in other parts of the Mahabharata. And I think it's very important also. I was also thrilled to see that the situation that Krishna and Arjuna recreate in the Gita has been given a contemporary approach. Instead of being a battle for life, it's a beautiful game of tennis between two sisters. But of course, I mean, the gist is there. They are brothers who are fighting, even if it is in a sport. And you have to teach this nishkam action, karma, which is proper of the Gita. I will now invite our audience, to give comments. So let's open the floor to everybody here. If anyone, maybe Srimati Das would like to say a few comments from Mexico. We'll be very happy to hear her.
Senor Oscar, you can hear me. Am I
Yes.
audible?
Perfecto.
Yes,
Yeah. So I would say I'm in India now. I have we have a new director at Mexico. I'm back to India. My
Okay.
tenure is over.
Okay.
But I would humbly request Anush Sharma ji to keep me as a private player in this Little Guru app.
Of course.
Because I have, as he tells you, that we have got fantastic experience in enabling this app during the full, that is the international, we had a international seminar at the Universidad Autonomous de Pachuca, where this gaming app was installed for the first time in the world. So now you have a new director. You can talk to Ricardo. He will put you on to him. And I'm sure he's going to be equally interested and excited about this new gaming app. But I continue to be associated with Little Guru app and with Mr. Anush Sharma and his team. If given an opportunity, I do have contacts with a lot of Spanish institutes and the schools and the colleges in Mumbai, where I'm sure she was very much interested in having it. But at the right, I would say my term got over and I'm back to India now. But today I am happy that you invited me, and it's a great honor for me, Anuj. And thank you, Dr. Nidhi, and your team, wonderful team, for making it possible for GTICC, ICCR in Mexico, for being a partner in progress and partner in culture between India and Mexico. Thank you once again, Senor Oscar, for giving me this opportunity. Namaskar.
Thanks. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Das, if I may say a word. Dr. Das really was the driving force, and Ricardo and team when we launched this Spanish app. So it's a pleasure to have you involved in this, whatever capacity, Dr. Das, and would love to take your support in reaching it out to, as you said, Spanish students in Mumbai and everywhere. Maybe Dr. Nidhi will connect with you and, take your support in spreading this far.
Fantastic. Fantastic. There are many people who wanted to get in touch with you, but then, I was in the fag end of my tenure. I also could not concentrate much. I will share with Dr. Nidhi all the addresses where she could get in touch with them directly.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's wonderful.
I'll do that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Dr.
please, Nidhi. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
And
connect
please
with
do-
you.
Yeah, and please do get in touch with the new director at GTICC, a young director. I'm sure he'll be equally excited about this.
We will do that. Thank you.
Will.
And do we have from the Institute University, I think Lauren or a team member, maybe Oscar ji, if any of them from Mexico University can speak, perhaps even in Spanish, it'll be great.
But I don't see Laura right now. Laura, I
Yeah.
don't see.
I
Laura was
think
there.
she has left, I think. She was there, but
Okay. No problem. Yeah. So,
No,
yes, Oscar.
a mí me gustaría dar un mensaje en español para todos aquellos que luego podrán ver este vídeo en el canal de YouTube del Cervantes. Decir que esta es una oportunidad de oro, pienso, para los que hablamos español, de utilizar esta aplicación para aprender, como ha dicho Sharmaji, para aprender las bases del sánscrito y para despertar nuestro apetito para más sánscrito. Yo pienso que es una manera, especialmente con los niños, pero también los adultos, que quieran iniciarse en esta lengua de una forma fácil, de una forma asequible, de una forma moderna además, ¿no? Contemporánea, que pone el sánscrito, saca el sánscrito un poco de su pasado y lo insiere de pleno, no solo en el presente, sino que también lo proyecta hacia el futuro. Y esto me parece realmente muy importante. Por lo tanto, este mensaje a todos los hispanos hablantes que nos escuchen o que nos vayan a escuchar, de que aprovechen esta aplicación. Es muy extraño en el mundo del sánscrito que tengamos una aplicación, evidentemente en inglés, pero también en español, cuando todavía no tenemos esa aplicación en francés, en alemán, en italiano o en otras lenguas europeas que tienen una tradición de estudio del sánscrito quizás más grande, ¿no? Y por lo tanto yo pienso que es una oportunidad única que deberíamos todos los que hablamos español y amamos español aprovechar. Y estoy seguro que en México, en España, pero también en Argentina, en Perú, en Chile, en Colombia, en Costa Rica, donde hace 55 años que se está enseñando sánscrito, se podrá aprovechar el contenido de esta aplicación. And now I go back to English because another message I would like to say, you know, after appealing to the Spanish speakers to use this application, I think one of the target of this application should be Indian children. I think if we are able to reach, you know, the Indian parents, and I think maybe Dr. Das can help us, you know, to disseminate this application in India itself. I have seen in the latest, especially the last, say, 10, 15 years, that there is a new interest in Sanskrit that does not come from the traditional interest from Pandits, Acharyas, Shastris, people who are great knowers of Sanskrit. But now we are finding that especially young engineers from the institutes of technology and from science are learning Sanskrit with the same passion that they learn mathematics, they learn physics, they learn engineering. And I think that's a very good development. There is a new interest for Sanskrit in India that comes from a real need that people are feeling to connect with their own culture. Because Sanskrit is such a treasure. We should think that the amount of literature that we have in Sanskrit, it's bigger, it's more than all the Greco-Latin tradition, which is so important for Western culture. We were able to start the Renaissance in Europe because we turned back our gaze to the Greek people and Latin people. And Renaissance took inspiration from the classic Western world. So I often wonder why India cannot also look back to the Sanskrit and reach itself with that wonderful tradition and you utilize Sanskrit wisdom for a new Renaissance. And I would like to say to all my Indian colleagues that Sanskrit is full of progressive and liberal thinking. I often say it, and this is to my knowledge, that the first attack against capital punishment, against the death penalty, the first document that we find that is going against this capital punishment, which today, you know, in Spain, we don't have capital punishment. In many countries, we don't have capital punishment. To my knowledge, the first text who deals against capital punishment is a Sanskrit text, is an episode from Mahabharata, where there is a dialogue between, I think it's Tyumatsena and Bibas Bhatt, I don't remember exactly, where the prince requests to his father to abolish capital punishment. This, it's many years ago, and it shows, you know, that the Sanskrit tradition is full of liberal thinking, of progressive thinking, which, you know, goes with modern values, and we should take use of that. I invite more people to say a few things before closing this session. If anyone would like to make any comments about this wonderful project by Anu Sharma. Maybe Nidia Graval will like to say something.
Anu sir has presented everything, so it's perfect from my side. I will appeal all of Sanskrit user, please download this, and it's really a good app in Spanish. So even your students, Oscar, they are going to enjoy it. Just ask them once to download this app.
Okay.
They will create their interest in Sanskrit. Your teachers, your students, once they will download it, their interest will automatically be created in this app.
Good. Okay, thanks very much. If there is no more comments,
Sir, I would like to congratulate Mr.
please,
Anuj Sharma.
Mayank, please.
Hello, sir. How are you? Buenas tardes.
Hello.
Buenas tardes.
Yes, sir. I would like to congratulate Anuj Sharma, sir. Although this is the first time I am coming across this app. Last month only, I was talking to someone that we are not working on Indian languages. But now we have an app which works on Spanish as well as Indian language. So like, it's a win-win situation for anyone who's learning Spanish and wants to learn Sanskrit. So it's a great honor to be, come across such a nice app, and I'll definitely use it. And I think we should connect. We also work in Spanish language. So there are things which we can work together on.
Mike, that's a great comment, and thank you very much for expressing yourself openly. If I may take 1 minute, Oscarji, to
please
supplement what Mayank said. See, we have a gamification platform, right? We have our company is called Game App Tech. So where we have a gamification platform, right, where we can create games practically on any subject, any learning subject. So typically gamification has different aspects like themes, algorithms, formats, and content. Right? And the way we made our platform is that we have hundreds of themes, we have dozens of algorithms, we have over scores of formats, over 30,000 combinations. So
Okay.
if you bring in any new subject, learning subject, you can choose from those combinations. You can create a game for yourself, right? Or we could create the game for you. So let's say if you want to create games specifically something for Spanish or within a Spanish culture, we could actually customize that game as well. So that option is very much there. Of course, the content, we will need your help in the content to create that. But let us have a discussion on that, as you mentioned. Sure, that we will connect with you. Nidhiji will connect with Mayank on that also. And if there is any requirement, needs you feel, you can use our platform to create that.
Sure, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot. We'll definitely connect with you.
My pleasure.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Mayank. And I think we can close this program today. But before closing, we had a Mangala Charan in the beginning. We'll ask Gayatri Ji to delight us with another shlok in Sanskrit.
कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि। ॐ पूर्णमत पूर्णमितं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Muchas gracias, Gayatri. Con esta bonita recitación concluimos pues nuestra sesión de hoy. Muchas gracias a Anuj Sharma por hacer posible esta presentación y por ofrecer al público, al gran público, esta aplicación. Thanks very much, Anuj. Looking forward to strengthen our collaboration with Little Guru and with your wonderful projects. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. Thank you. Dhanyavad, Oscarji.
Thank you, everyone.